Welcome back. So we're going to start off because what everyone wants to talk about is the Oklahoma City Thunder. And obviously, I don't know if you've known, but Russell Westbrook had knee surgery yesterday. He's out 4 to 6 weeks, which I think puts him back. Let's see, the season starts in a month. So he'll be out like 2 weeks out of the first?
Yeah, they're saying he's going to miss about like 12 to 21 games is what they're expecting.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, that's more than what I thought.
Yeah, it's a quarter of the season.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so this is a great stat. I didn't come up with this. I think it was John Schumann, or maybe Tom Haberstra, I don't know, over on Twitter. They said that 6% of Kevin Durant's minutes last season came without Russell Westbrook or Kevin Martin. Now, what does that mean? That means that while he is probably the greatest scorer in the game right now, he usually isn't on the floor by himself in a way that, like, you can put LeBron out there with scrap, and he'll still make them better players.
And you saw flashes of that in the playoffs. You know, he had to play naturally without Westbrook.
Yeah.
Martin wouldn't be on the floor, and he had to take on that passing role, which
isn't his game.
It's not his game. He tried to adjust to it. He didn't do a terrible job, but he didn't do the job he needed to.
Look, if I'm Kevin Durant and I'm not playing with Russell Westbrook, here's what I'm doing. I'm gonna try to put up 40. Because it's not the playoffs. You can do 40 a game for 2 weeks, and not exactly 40, but score in the high 30s to mid to high 30s a game, because there's not the same. You're not going to be playing against the same defenses. It's going to be harder for them to prepare for you. And I just think that he shouldn't change his game, because I don't think that he has that in him. I mean, he's the greatest. I think he's probably the greatest scorer playing right now, and he should try to play a little more like that.
Hands down the most efficient.
Yeah, and I mean, he didn't do the post so much, which maybe he's going to do a little more of that later. He didn't have to wait for it.
Yeah, I mean, he also got doubled every time he tried.
Yeah, that's
every
true.
Time he touched the ball.
I don't think you can do that in the regular season, unless it's like at the end of the game. If it's a close game, they could do it. But interesting, so they have Reggie Jackson, right? But is he more of a point guard? We don't really know what he does.
He's kind of a
combo guard.
At this point, in the playoffs, they wanted him to just, you can't really take over a Westbrook role, but he was scoring as much as he could. He couldn't distribute the ball like Westbrook.
Right.
Ibaka kind of suffered as a result of that because...
Well, I don't know if Ibaka suffered, or we just saw that Ibaka is really not an offensive player.
I'd like to think that Ibaka suffered because he didn't have Westbrook.
Yeah.
He didn't have... Westbrook, when he goes in, they have to collapse.
They collapse.
On Reggie
Although,
Jackson,
to be fair, when Russell Westbrook isn't really passing the ball when they collapse.
Yeah, but at least, maybe he chucks up a...
And he draws the defenders and he can grab the rebound or whatever.
Tip dunks,
Yeah.
We're all waiting for that.
I'm not a huge fan of Serge Ibaka, just because, like, personally, I think he's a big mouth and he doesn't really have the game to back it up. He said multiple times. I mean, look, Steven Jackson came at him one time, and we don't really know what happened there, but he did.
Yeah.
And then
Steven Jackson's
a little insane.
We'll talk about that.
But he said LeBron's not a good defensive player, which if you've ever seen LeBron James play defense, he's probably the best perimeter defender in the game when he wants to be. So I mean, it might have just been posturing by Serge Ibaka, but anyway, we got anything else on Oklahoma City, because we're gonna have to move on. We got other teams.
We'll talk about the Nuggets.
We can talk about the Nuggets. Oh wait, do you think we're gonna ask this? Do you think Oklahoma City makes the playoffs? Yes,
they make the playoffs. I didn't think that was even a question.
Well, no, I know, but I just felt we should address that.
Okay.
Also, do they have a top 4 seed? Do they have home court advantage?
They're not. Let's just drop the idea that they're going to make 1 and 2. I'd say 4, 5 is possible.
Yeah, I would try to get 4, obviously.
4, obviously, but 5 is doable. I mean, three-quarters of the season's with Westbrook.
Yeah.
Quarter of the season without.
I don't know, though. I mean, honestly, like, I don't want to get into the whole James Harden thing, but it does not look good in retrospect.
Houston is looking great.
But we talked about them a couple episodes before. Who do you have number 1 over there? Do you have a San Antonio or Houston or Memphis?
Number 1 in the West?
No, in that division.
Oh, in that division?
Which might be in the West.
It's hopeful, but I'm gonna go Houston.
I had San Antonio, Houston second, Memphis third.